In this video, it is all about mini cameras to help you film your RC videos. And if you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Troy. This is RoadsideRC. You'll tend to find me bashing or crawling or drifting or racing, plus doing product review videos and how-tos. And clearly, cameras and videos for RC is something that I think about a lot. And I've been recently testing these two cameras, and I wanted to just kind of give you a heads up and awareness about the pros and cons of these two in case you are looking to film some of your own video footage. The main camera that I use, that you're on looking at me right now, is actually the DJI Osmo Action 6. I've had their 5 before, recently picked up the 6, and I really have enjoyed that. Before, I've used multiple GoPros, but these are all like the bigger form function camera, and a lot of the times, especially drifting and crawling and found, sometimes even bashing, you want something that's like a little bit smaller where you can then take out these itty bitty cameras, honestly, some duct tape straps them down, and you can get some really pretty cool footage with them. The DJI Osmo Nano 64 gigabyte is $299. This is the Insta360 Go 3, which is also $299. So these are the exact same price point. Yes, for a little bit of extra money, you can get a higher capacity version of these, and for even more money, you can get the Go 3S. We'll talk about some of that later. They're both really easy to mount. You just disconnect them from the main camera, slap them down. I just put a piece of duct tape across the top, and voila, you're done. You can get super creative with some sticks to like hang them up and off a little bit or out, things like that, in order to get some different perspectives. But clearly the first thing is just we got to go drive these. So I strapped both of these onto some RC drift cars and went out and took some footage at the local track. So first up is the Insta360 Go 3. This is one I've had for a while. This has been the main camera. So if you've seen a lot of the footage on board recently over the last few years, it's been this camera. This is the 3 only goes up to a 2K image. So as we look at it taking off here, it doesn't look so good. The lens actually looks dirty, and the truth is, it's not dirty. I don't know why. It's not smudged. It's not anything. Maybe it has a little couple scratches in there, but yeah, I don't know. The video quality isn't here, only at that 2K. But also what I want you to really pay attention to is the colors and the crispness generally of the image might be just ever so slightly lacking. Great stabilization though. We'll compare it to the DJI here in a minute, and man, these Insta360 Go's, they have figured out the stabilization really, really well. Bumpy, everything, it just absolutely absorbs it. Swapping over to the DJI, first thing is the field of view, like the wide angle, a little bit differently set than the Insta360. That was just a mistake. I didn't mean to. As I was trying to set things up, I just screwed that up. But wow! Color difference, clarity, crispness with that 4K. They did quite the good job with this. There's a couple places here though where the car gets really bouncy, and it makes me wonder if like the stabilization isn't quite as good as maybe the Insta360 is. Now, we're going to test this more and more, and so I think that's just something, as you continue to watch this footage throughout this video, pay attention to how good is the stabilization on both cameras. Then actually strapped both of them, cameras side by side, literally lens to lens on the top of a car. Which one is actually a little bit better in the exact same shots? First thing that I noticed is that the field of view clearly matters. Like I mentioned earlier, I got the settings just slightly different between the two of them. So the car being able to capture all the footage that's in front of you, but also how close everything looks and speed is different due to that field of view setting. But otherwise, again, color, clarity, crispness, and all that with the DJI is no match. You know, the Insta360 just can't keep up. I also walked around here once handheld. So I picked both of them up, held them side by side, and kind of walked around the drift track. DJI's in 60 frames a second, the Insta's in 30, but it's interesting here, quick pan, if I rewind and come back here to the beginning, quick pan around there, it almost like you see almost some like window painting a little bit in the DJI, but I never noticed that anywhere else except for that one shot, so that's kind of interesting. But otherwise, again, clearly image is better. And then the last thing I wanted to point out is that the DJI has this like square film mode. So you can film using the full absolute sensor, and then you can crop it wide so that you can have that wider view. You can then crop it vertical. So this is all the exact same video clip, just cropped differently to be shared so that, you know, one of them can be in a full regular length video, one of them could be for Instagram and Facebook, something like that, all from the same footage, and it keeps good quality as you do it. I've tried to do that with the Insta360 before, and by the time you crop it down into those forms, it just loses so much video quality that it's kind of unwatchable, unfortunately. So yeah, here's an example of a lap with like kind of like that cropped DJI footage that I would typically be looking for. But I know not all of you are into the drift cars, and so there's a bunch of you also do crawling, and these little cameras can be great to strap onto the side of a crawler. It really is quite fun. You can even stick it kind of inside if you have clear windows and try to crawl and get some video footage from like kind of in-cab, like first-person video. It's pretty cool that way. Again, workbench, oops, I left the DJI Zoom way out, so that is unfortunate, but clearly looking at them side by side, the picture quality is, again, no comparison. I then go back outside, and what I actually did is I actually just taped these cameras side by side on a camera stick. So they are as close to being together here as you can possibly get them. And the DJI colors on this outside, absolutely no doubt is better. When we look at the stabilization, it actually seems to me like a little more equal here. So maybe when I had that early drift footage, it was maybe a little bit, maybe I didn't have the camera mounted securely or something, because walking around with the camera here, I would have expected to have seen that stabilization problem. And then, you know, a couple of shots here where the DJI clearly is handling the sun better than the Insta360 does. So bottom line, the DJI clearly coming out on top here, but there is a little bit more to it that we should probably consider. You can clearly see that once out of the box, the Insta360 is smaller, which means you might have the ability to put it in a few more places that the DJI won't. Both of them have replaceable lenses, so you can unscrew these lenses, put new ones on in case they get scratched, which is very important with these because it happens. They both have magnetic bases on them, so when you take them out, you can stick them. You can stick them to wherever you have magnetic. Battery life is not even a comparison though. Insta360, they claim on this Go 3 about 45 minutes of battery life. I have never seen that ever, because most of the time when I am pulling this thing out and I am putting it on the car, running it around, it seems like more closer to like 20-ish minutes, and it is dead. You stick it back in this case in order to charge it, and it still struggles. It does not recharge back up. So whenever I've used this over the last few years, I've been had to be very careful with how I planned the usage of it. The DJI claims 200 minutes, which is different than 45. A lot different, and so far I believe it. So far, absolutely no qualms. I have not even gotten close to killing the battery on it yet in my testing. Both of these models, like I mentioned earlier, are 64 gigabytes internal storage. The DJI does have the ability to actually add an SD card to expand it, so you can actually get that 64 megabyte version and then just stick an SD card in. They also offer a 128 gigabyte version for $329, so like $30 more. It's really kind of a no-brainer to get the one with the extra space in it. This one does not have that option. It is only the space that is in it. Both cameras have a screen where you can actually see what is happening as you are filming. If you want to flip it around and film yourself, the Insta360 just pops up like this and does it. The good news about the DJI is it just literally comes off of its base, right back on, and then after swapped around there, it just shows up plainly right there on the front. So both of them, if you are doing more of a vlog, if you want to make sure that yourself is in frame, you can use both of them like that. The interface with these things is also actually rather simple. Both of them offer apps, and so you can wirelessly connect to them with the apps. You can download all the videos to your phone and then transfer them to another computer if you need to, or edit the videos on your phone. My workflow is dramatically simpler. I just literally plug the camera into my laptop and just pull the videos straight to the laptop, and that's where I do all of my editing. Both of them allow you to do that relatively easy. When you plug them in, they just look like a USB hard drive, and you can remove the videos from them there. So I think you've kind of seen the writing on the wall here from some of that initial testing. For me, it's no doubt the DJI is clearly the better of the two cameras. And Insta360 does have an upgraded version now. You can get out and go get the 3S that has 4K capability, but it's $80 more than the DJI. And based on my previous experience with this camera, I can't see any reason why the $80 would be worth it. Get the DJI and put $80 in your pocket. And I really want to know if this was useful for you, for all my normal RC folks out there. Does talking about the cameras, does that help you at all? Are you curious at what else I use? Honestly, it's one of these. It's my Osmo Action 6, and it's my cell phone. That's pretty much all I ever use, and I'm able to make just about any video that I want. If you are curious about these, I will have a link to them down in the video description where you can go and pick them up. And if you have any other YouTube-y questions or things along those lines, feel free to leave them down in the comments, and I'll be happy to try to answer them there. I also have some other videos and a playlist about just kind of general getting started with filming RC and things like that, in case you are curious about those. So I hope this video was useful for you. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.